Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us this morning. Today is Thursday, August 17th. My name is Estefania Lopez, and I'm the Marketing Associate for Telarus. Today we have a great training call lined up for us by our friends at Ensable, and we're very happy to have founder Justin Chugg with us. Quick note to our partners before we get started, please remember that if you have any questions throughout today's presentation to utilize the chat feature, and those will be addressed at the Q&A portion at the end. So with that, I'll turn the time over to Justin.
Well, thank you so much, Estefania. It's great to be here with everybody. Last time we were on this call, we didn't have a chance to get into all the details, and so wanted to make sure that we took some time today to actually talk about what Ensable does and how it can help you. So if you remember, the core platform of Ensable is specifically built around Sarah, which is your sales automation research assistant. So Sarah is basically a virtual employee for your company, an inside sales rep, someone who can help you find prospects, get you all the data that you need, and really enable you to do a lot more. And so what we're trying to do is complement and enhance your own sales capabilities. And Sarah's primary focus is sales research and tracking. So all she does is track company prospects, and that's her core focus. And so what she's trying to do is churn through mountains of data and lots of noise across the internet and trying to make sense of that and trying to find ways to predict when companies are actually entering the buying cycle. And so what this does is it allows you to apply the 80-20 rule, where only 20% of the companies are actually ready to buy. And if you were to focus on these companies, you would be much more successful. And so really she's just trying to direct you in the right area where you would have the most success. Now here are some of the events that she's really looking for across the web. She's trying to figure out when companies are moving, when companies are hiring new executives, or when new executives join the company, because that's a lot of times when they spend the most money, when they're looking for some type of IT help, or they're getting venture capital. There's mergers and acquisitions or construction projects, if there's a natural disaster local to the area, if there's an office expansion or a contact center, also if there's any type of fiber internet construction coming into their building, and anonymous website traffic as well. What that means is if they're going to your website, we put a tracking pixel, which is just a small image on your site, and when they download the image, we capture their IP address. We take the IP address to Aaron.net, look up the company information, and we're able to basically translate that anonymous website visitor into a sales alert for you. And so that way these events really give you direction in what's happening and where to focus your time. Now here's a quick example of where one company acquired another company. This is an actual alert that came in 5 days ago. But these are the types of alerts that would come into you by email in real time when we see events or opportunities within a certain market that you're looking at. Also, here's an example of a company that's looking for an IT security expert. This would be a great opportunity for a company like Masergy, where they could come in and actually help them accomplish what they're trying to do within this job description. Here's an example of a company that's experiencing significant headcount growth. And so we're tracking this based off of a local geography, looking at the number of job postings that they have. And typically this could be a company that's either growing or having a lot of success or opening up a new office. And here's an example of a company that's moving. What we look at is the commercial real estate listings. And any commercial real estate listings that have a date in the future, let's say September or October, and we know that the space in the building won't become available until for at least a few months. And so if that's the case, then we look at if there's any existing tenants in the building. And so we use some of our reverse address technology to look up some of the tenants and determine who is actually in the building. And if those two match up, then that's when we turn this into a lead here, like what you see here on the page. We also provide you with the commercial real estate broker information because they'll be instrumental in this whole process and also capturing anybody that's moving into the building going forward. Also, here's an example of a company that's received venture capital. Typically, these are the better moments to get involved with these companies. These are when a lot of change is about to take place. And typically, we can see this before they get the venture capital or right about the same time. But again, this is another great opportunity to reach out and engage with these companies. Now, part of what Sarah wants is trying to do here is trying to make the customer acquisition cost as low as possible. And so knowing when and why to reach out to companies is only half the battle. What we want to do is also to identify low-hanging fruit, or in other words, only allow you to engage in companies that fall into your sweet spot. That would be easy to acquire if you could just get in front of them. So in order to help you track the right companies, Sarah has a number of data tools that can actually pull this information together for you. And so there's 8 different tools, which we'll talk about most of them here, but one of which is data.ensable.com. This is probably the one that you'll use more than any of them. We'll walk you through what this actually does. But what these tools are is they're seed tools. They're here to build data sets that allow you to track the right types of prospects. So to kind of run you through an example, the data.ensable.com will layer on 6 different filters. You can sort companies by vertical. You can look at them by technology. So if they're using Azure or Cisco or Citrix, what the system does is it goes through DNS records, job postings, forums, and a number of other plugins and anything else that we can see on their website to determine what types of technologies they're using today in order to help you find the right types of companies. We can also filter by headcount size, the number of locations, any type of events that have taken place recently. So we talked about at the beginning how Sarah's core purpose and function is to track companies. And so if any of these events are associated with these companies within this list, you can filter by that within the data tool here. And then obviously geography. Now the zip code actually builds a radius around the company, so it doesn't necessarily limit it just to that zip code, but it makes it easier for you to actually pull the data just by putting in the zip code. And after you submit the request, what happens is within about 2 to 3 hours, the system will go out and pull fresh data. So none of this data is stored in a data warehouse. But the reason why there's somewhat of a delay between when you submit the request and when you get the request back is because it's always pulling fresh data, which is what makes it so much more accurate. And so you'll get a list of all of the companies and the contacts within these companies, as well as email and any other information that we have about them. Another important tool is the competitor research tool. So what this does for us is it allows you to identify the competitors of any given list. And so with this tool, you can upload a list of companies. And what this does is it translates that into a list of competitors of those companies. Because a lot of times it's a lot easier to talk to a company that's competitive with an existing client or a company who you would consider an anchor client. It would be that much easier to get into the opportunity. The addresslist.report.com, this is essentially a tenant list. And so if you're looking for accurate tenant information, whether you're focusing on near-net buildings or fiber construction projects or recently lit buildings or underserved buildings, or if you're working with direct reps at fiber companies in a referral relationship basis, what this tool does is actually provides you with all of the tenant contact information for any given address. So on the previous page, you would simply submit an address with your email, and the system automatically performs this research for you. What's unique about the data within these lists is, one, it's fresh, just like all the other lists, but two, it's actually accurate. You'll find that most tenant systems always have false positives. People have always moved, and a lot of times it's missing data, and the data is really spread out across multiple tenant systems and tenant databases. And so what this platform does is it looks at all the different tenant systems, whether it's Google Maps or Yelp or LinkedIn, and cross-references all the data across all the different platforms. That way it has a complete scope of everyone in the building. And in order to get rid of the false positives, what it does is at the end of the day, it actually pulls in the data from the actual website. So it'll go in and spider the company's website and look for the physical address on the website to confirm the details. And this allows us to get a much more accurate database and to get us pulling those fresh contacts and make it a lot more easier for you to prospect here. Now, fiberaddresses.com is just another research tool. This is where you would upload a site list or a list of physical addresses, and the system will determine which suppliers are on net or actually have fiber in the building, and which suppliers are nearby. And then it'll give you the distance for each of those and allow you to see that broken down by address. Next up, we have a VAR data research tool. And a lot of folks use referral relationships to build their business, but the challenge is that there's still a lot of false positives when you're looking at the IT industry, because it's kind of has a wide scope, and a lot of times there's VARs and individuals within that IT industry or telecom industry that are just a bad fit. So what the VAR data research tool does is it allows you to spider their websites for certain keywords. And that way you can kind of get a feel for what these companies sell and focus on. And so you could upload a list of VARs and their websites to the system, and then the system will automatically extract the industry keywords that are found and listed on their website to help you determine what type of VAR this is, or whether or not it even is a VAR, to help you move forward. The upsell report is also another great tool. This is more of a sales preparation tool. And what this does is it's essentially trying to get you data about a company so that you don't have to spend time researching them before an appointment. And so to start out, it's going to give you a high-level overview: company size, the number of location, number of employees, when it was founded, what they do, social profiles, the size of the company, and information like that. The next piece is we're going to give you information about their competitors using that competitor analysis tool that we talked about in the beginning. Also, all of the key contacts within the company, any location details that we have, so all of their locations would be listed here, and we would automatically run GeoQuote services for each of these locations. And so if you click on any of those links next to broadband options, it would pull up a quote for you automatically. But what's also fun about this is you can get details about the type, what the building looks like, and the type of building, the size of the building, any recent natural disasters, any on-net or near-net fiber. So really a complete scope about each of their locations so that you can have that information right in front of you when you're talking to them. Another crown jewel within this platform is the technology overview. So this is where you can talk to them from an integration standpoint and understand the applications and services that they're using and be able to address those on the call and have that information right up in front. Also, any recent news articles that have shown up about the company and current job openings. Now, as we talked about in the beginning, Sarah's core focus is to track companies. And these data tools are allowing you to cherry pick the companies that fall within your sweet spot. And so what happens is every time you run one of these data tools, whether you're doing research or building lists, the system will automatically put that into your bucket of companies that you want us to track for you. So if we find any events surrounding these companies, you will automatically receive alerts around these companies once we build the data for you. And so this is part of the Ensable back office portal. You'll be able to see the data on the different companies that you've researched, and you can come in and edit it or delete it or modify that however you like. So that's everything for as far as Ensable goes. Again, it's really just two things. It's our core focus is helping you know when and why to reach out to companies, But we also want to make sure that you're tracking the right types of companies in order to really lower your customer acquisition cost. So again, thank you everyone for joining us today. If there's any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can contact me at info@ensable.com, or you can call me directly. I'd be happy to talk to you a little bit more about Ensable. So thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you so much, Justin. One last note to everyone, today's presentation's recording will be available to you shortly in your back office under recorded trainings. We'd definitely like to thank Justin and the Ensable team again for their time, and thanks to everyone for your participation. Have a great rest of the selling week.